So team, welcome back. We are continuing with our day 3 for AnyAUT and trying to explore more on this tool. So just a quick summary team, all that we did in our first few days was to go to AnyAUT.com and download our desktop app, follow these instructions and just do a regular, so that's what we've been doing. And in day 2, what we did is we went a little bit more deeper about understanding the fundamentals of what we're testing and taking a sample application like costco.com. And we said, let's try to test a few of these scenarios. So we were speaking about search functionality and maybe sign in, register, and so on. What we did is in our folder, C drive training, ACT API. There was that Excel sheet that I created team yesterday. I'm just seeing quickly. Give me a second. It was, if we didn't put it in training, I did the executions, right? There you go. Without getting demo underscore Costco. So I'm gonna actually take this whole thing and put it in our training. That way, it'll be easy for us to take it later. But do we need all of those team? Most of it that we're doing is Excel, correct? So let's just take the Excel file. Copy. So our output was primarily in this Excel sheet in terms of what it should do, how it should look, and so on. So my output of our effort, and that goes as an input. So we went through the sheet and we were understanding as to how this is happening across the application and a test, what we fill, what do we fill in the modules, then the test cases, only one test case, test steps, and so on, a few things we were doing. So very minimal. We kept that whole Excel sheet and that becomes a driving thing for us. So let's try and change this Excel sheet so to another version and rerun this. Let's say I want to add another test case. So close. Actually, I've reviewed most of this. Everyone with me? So yesterday we created one demo underscore Costco. So how does it look when I do the execution? I just pick up the start the AnyAUT desktop launcher and change the name to demo underscore Costco. If we are not sure, you browse and select it. And all I'm doing is execute automation test. So now we will take a look back at that Excel sheet. What is it doing? Look at the application right now, how it's behaving. And we will write one more scenario in the same module. Maybe we'll make it as an error mode. Scenario. And do you see this highlights team that's happening? The green, the yellow, and so on. These are specific indications. It's able to perform, find the element, and perform the action onto it. So it's typed laptop and it's clicked on the lens search icon. This is done automatically from our automation tool. Our inputs are based in the Excel sheet. And team, as we go further, I will definitely be getting into HTML, CSS, so you'll get deeper understanding. Now what we're saying, this demo underscore Costco, which is there, If I open the correct one, I'll keep it in here itself. And let's save this as second version. Okay. Now look at how I'll do this thing. Application and a test is not something we use content from. It's just basic information that's there on the application, nothing critical. Modules is the one where our focus is most important. So your overall full application can be broken down into smaller modules. Like search is one, user management is one, e-commerce shopping cart is one, UI navigations could be other, so on, depending. Maybe sponsored products is one module. So the organizations, application, whatever it is, that can be divided. Now under the search, that is one module. So search is one module. I will have another module for user management. Okay. Now I'll say this is Costco underscore user management. That's the name. User GT. User management. And I'm not executing this right now because it's not ready. This time lapsed is not relevant right now for us, more at a later stage. It is not, it is in fact a column we are not using too much. You can ignore this column. Test cases, the next sheet is telling me that in a given module, which is the module C underscore search, I have one test case here, and that's the name of this test case. Now this way, I may have hundreds of test cases. Each test case has to be different team. It cannot be the same ID. So that way, steps related to them can be also be different. Now see, we have 3 test cases under the module. Okay. So don't forget that concept at any time, team. Notepad. I'm trying to draw something. The notepad is not opening. So your application and the test is divided into many modules. Okay. Now each module is divided into many test cases. The same thing here. And each test case is broken down into many steps. So that is the smallest thing at the end of test step N. So are you seeing the hierarchy, team? So this is the smallest activity a user can perform. And if the user performs all of these activities, it means that the user has completed it on the application. So what have we done so far, team? We have created one module called M1. Okay. And under that module M1, we've created 3 test cases, which are search item 1, and search item 2. Okay. Now we will work on them. Let's see how and what we can do. So this one, I'm going to go to test steps. And in here, what you will notice is this thing. The column module ID, the column test case ID, and this test step ID. These are the important ones. It tells me where they belong, like I showed you in the template. So if I look at test cases, for the same module, I have 3 test cases. So what I will do is I'm going to copy this. Actually, close browser, I want to do team. So I will select this at the end. I don't want to leave it. Now this I'll change it to 1. Everyone. And Again, I don't want this. I'm not verifying anything at the moment. So this we're not interested. Now, in this, there are two things that we have to look at. What is the keyword? We are using those: open, navigate, click, type. Simple ones so far. As we keep adding more, we'll learn more. Till quit browser. So here is one test case. Here's the second test case. Is there any difference between them? As is? No, there's absolutely no difference between them, team. They're as is the same. So what can I make a change in? So I will say that in this case, instead of laptop, let's maybe search for ice cream. So the first one, I'm searching for laptop. The second, I'm searching for ice cream. Now, the same module, I have one more test case. All I'm doing is copying this and pasting this here. And this has a item 2 as the name. And see, team, I'm pretty much slowed down in this part of the session because when you're working with spreadsheets or anything critical, you have to be careful. Team. It's almost like coding. It'll ask you to do whatever you're doing in a specific syntax. So we have to respect and follow that. Now, in this case, I will use a totally different thing saying blah, blah, very random. So we are searching now for laptop, then I want to search for ice cream, and then I want to search for this. So let's look at how this will run, team. So I have demoed this for cost photo. 3 test cases created. Did I make any mistakes that you observe? Let me know, please. Highly possible when we do these activities, we can select 1 or 2 things. Search item 1, 2. So we have 3 tests. I can choose which I want to run, which I don't want to run. In this case, let's try and run all 3. I don't need to close any browsers in the background. All I have to do is launch and give the path to that Excel. And while that is going on, I can do any other launches. I can do few more regressions with other Excel sheets and so on. What is very important, team, is the bulk of the information is there in that Excel file. What has to be done, where, how, and so on. The same content we can also present it within our web UI. I will show that to you in the next class. But today I want to show you a few things on how we've used this AnyAUT to build something a larger customer and what we're doing as executions. So do you see that execution happening, team? And for us, what is very critical as you become an AnyAUT certified tester is not necessarily to observe what is happening at each execution, because it might be happening very fast and the whole thing could be running sometimes for a long duration. So then what is it that we will look at? We will look at the output in the results folder. That is where we will start focusing. The reason it's waiting for to type is it always waits for the page to finish loading team before it does the next step. What if some elements have not loaded during that period and so on. It in fact did not have any issues, I believe. It went through the whole process. And the way I know that my execution is done is I'll see that the AnyAUT icon and the application on the taskbar is gone. Let's go to results quickly now. Today is 29th April. I believe this is the one. If there were errors, team, there could be a screenshots folder. There are no errors, and hence I get the main one. I think all of you should just look at the extend report HTML here. For your initial analysis, it's easy to do. Now, see, I can go to each step and see what happened. What did I do? Did it pass or not? Any specific issues or not? And at a higher level, it will tell me how many steps in total, how long it took, how is the pass percentage, who ran it, what is the operating system, what is the version of Java, few details. So it's a great way to keep a history of such reports. Any questions while I make a small variation to it, please? So let's now do version 3 of cost and try and talk about defects. Yes, so there are a lot. For example, so there's a question saying if you want to wait before a specific step, how do we do it in AnyAUT? So the easiest way is there's a wait time. So I can always say wait, and there's a keyword for it. If you go to your built-in keywords and just do Control F and say wait, you would see a few wait out here. Wait till element is enabled, element is visible, so and so. Wait till element text present. There is wait 3 sec, but it is removed, so it is no longer, I think, existing. But continue with your wait, sir. There's one more towards the end. Here, wait for seconds. Do you see this? This is the one where I can say how long I should wait. In fact, this one should take input test data. So I will show you, team. I'll show you in another Excel sheet how wait statements are added. I did not want to add more keywords to begin with in our test steps. I just wanted to keep them simple. Now, this is good when my automation tool is working nicely and closely with us. So what do I mean? There were a few drawings that we did yesterday. ACT-APR. I think this one. No problem, actually. All right, remember this, team? We were talking earlier about a human and how that human, tends to do a task differently, but the same one, a robot, tends to do the same task in a different way. And the biggest thumb rule, like we were looking at, was the ERA. So while we're building these applications, our thumb rules is to make sure that every time we have efficiency, reusability, and accuracy. So that is how we want to automate. So this image is primarily also saying how do humans and this robot work together to build something. So my robot should be very smart to tell what is going right, what is going wrong, and so on. So for it to work, the two big important questions are what to do, that is the action, like click here, open a browser, close browser, and so on. Where to do, of how we identify that element. A simple right click, inspect element, and copy XPath that I was showing you, that comes here, and the test data. So now let us say in this demo underscore cost 43, which should run correctly as is, I make a defect. What is the defect? So there's an XPath for this search icon, which is here. Only for the second test case, I'm going to mess it up and write something. Now what would happen? AnyAUT will try and find this element that is there on line 30. It's trying to click on, but it cannot. So what does it do at that point? We can observe it. So I'm going to save this now and rerun this. So we're slowly trying to build up the functionality on an application and the variations. Cost for So while we execute, let's also think in the mind what should happen. So the first time it launches, it's my test case 1. I'm okay. This will open, do the bunch of stuff and close. It should do things correct. The next test case 2 is the one which will have an issue. That's what we anticipate. Let that go through, team. Let that execution happen through. Oh, sorry, I minimized. I should not have done that. Minimize is not a thing that you want to do or click on any of these browsers that are open by your tool. You want to let that happen. So while that happens in the background, I'm not sure if Ramu joined in. I want to show you a large implementation. The source code for AnyAUT as to what and how this application will behave when we execute, how it reads that Excel and completes that entire execution is done through this bunch of codes out here. That's it. So for example, now I launched this and it is saying this is version 1.5 and it's text. So as I work on this, I can continue to make it as new version. So where is 1.5 searching? So let's say currently I want to save this as 1.5.1. Smaller, no big changes, but I just save this and execute. So when I execute it through Eclipse as a project, it'll all come up nicely. And I can do the same things that we were doing from our desktop. But before I give it as a zip file that all of you do, I have to package this whole thing and create a jar, execute the jar. So that's something I'll show in a later session. I'm getting a call every other minute from a different number. I'm not sure. There is that execution of our team. This is 5.1. See now the latest one we changed, we were running, so it comes up. So anything, the color, logos, or how the framework works is all in our hand to change them. Now team, what I want to show you is one of the larger implementations that we are working with in AnyAUT on. That's our customer climatic. So in climatic, we primarily have a bunch of things that we're doing there. And it'll look almost the same as AnyAUT overall. It's an AnyAUT kind of almost the same implementation. When I launch, it will look a little different because it's implemented for the customer. So there's no more AnyAUT into it. It's a climatic test automation framework. There are versions that we are consistently releasing, and most of it we do the changes on AnyAUT and also release it to the other customers as they request. In this, the major effort has not gone on the technical aspect. It's all almost the same, the framework, the code. The main one are these regression Excels. You saw our Excel sheet, correct? It was so straightforward, simple for us to look at. So the underscore cost for 3 was so easy, simple, just 3 test cases, 1 module, about 22 steps. Now, one of these larger Excel sheets applies to master to show you the perspective of it, the size. The modules, the number of modules are about 16 total team. We've completed most and we still to do a few. Test cases are the ones that we saw in our side. We had 3 there, but here for each module there are a bunch of test cases. So if I keep scrolling down, there are in total about 450 test cases team. Each one is in fact doing pretty much different functionalities. So you can expand and do a combination of these and make it easily 600, 700. So still some work to be done on that. Now test steps. This ran to about 6,500. So that's a humongous amount of content that people user defined keywords and all this will come later. Element IDs could be interesting. So this application had pages that went on and on. So for each page, how did we identify that element, using what methodology? We put them out here. So that makes it reusable. Whenever I want it, I'll pick it from here and I don't have to, I can centralizedly maintain. It's a page factory, page object model combination that you're seeing here. For those of you who are aware of that framework. So now let me show you something that's interesting in this. So the results for the cost code 3 are here. And now you see there's a screenshots folder. It is taken in a case when the application has seen an issue and it will name it with that module name, the test case name, the step number, and what the step was trying to do with the timestamp. The way we look at this screenshot is not by going to the folder. We open the report.html and it'll tell me my first test case passed, my second one failed as I expected. Here is the step where it failed, and it tells me the specific reason that would give me a better idea to debug the application and see if it is really an application defect or something, some data that I provided like ID or so, that becomes it. In this case, it tells us that, hey, you know what? It could not find an element, no such element with this. We changed it, we put it and we expected this to come. So it is running the way we wanted it. But my report gets more friendly now. It tells me, okay, what's happening. And if I scroll down further, it will also have a screenshot. So you can see that it's done up to ice cream, typing it there, but the next step it could not find this. So it's left there. If it found it and could not do something on it, it will do a red highlight. Okay. But then in this case, it did not even find, so it cannot do a red highlight. Next one worked fine. So that's how your individual test cases look. Now comes the overall view. You have 18 steps. Out of that, one failed. So that's a 94% pass percentage, which is not bad from an automation industry perspective. Because automation tests can fail due to multiple things. But it is our job to make them mature. It took us 2 minutes, team. All right. Now I'm going to show you the results from the other execution that I was doing. This is the ones that I was showing you, team, for the large regressions. So I was ran this overnight yesterday. I asked a lot of CTAF members to do. I don't know why I did not get too many responses from you all, but here is what I did, team. So let's go to career here. So carry report is 15 MB, team. Look at the size of this file. Great one to compare right away to see how big this is. Compared to ours here, which is 80 kilobytes. It's like a lot of. Now let's open this report. It's still loading. It's a long HTML file, though it's locally present. It has to render onto the browser. So here are my test cases. I can go and look at the individual failures where, why, what went right, wrong. And it'll guide me through it, what's going on the application. If I scroll down, this has gone through a large set of executions. And a lot of these failures, I think, towards the end happened because maybe I closed browsers or something during early morning. Let's look at the dashboard here, team. This one, almost 4,500 steps. 86% pass percentage is not good. So that means that there are a lot of things to be fixed in the sheet. And this ran for a solid 4.5 hours. And it is automation running for 4.5 hours, team. A human to do this will take easily, I would say, a couple of days, at least, or more. You have to do the same step by step, report everything, and be able to precisely point. This report gives you further chances to filter down. You can always do choices like, I only want to see failed ones. So it will filter it. Then you can search specific test case by the name and see what happened to them. So you have good scope there. There is a more detailed report that comes called run result. This is an Excel version of it. All it has is the series of steps that it did, all the data, how long it took, and what happened. And if there's an issue, it will take a screenshot of it and put an error and say this is failed. So these things, it will start taking a lot of. So this is a little bit more detailed. Then there's a log. I don't want you to look at that. Only look at the report.html. Now, just to show you a little larger one on the same. So this I just started around midnight yesterday, and it's a 26 MB HTML file. This took 6 hours and 10 minutes, team. And in between, it went into sleep mode. My screen has to be on, it cannot be turned off. And hence I could not do too much execution. So let's see the pass percentage. Not bad as 93%. It's still acceptable because we have a humongous test executed. And out of 7,500, it's just 400 odd that got failure. It took us 6 hours, team. So this application was working non-stop for 6 hours. It did not fail. And these jobs are done on a daily basis on remote servers of the client end. That's big tasks that we are trying to perform. So I wanted to show you this so you get a perspective of where it can take us. Now, team, as part of what we're doing, I want 3 teams to work on small assignments or project itself. So there is a things that we need to do: Excel creation, execution, debugging, maintenance. So there's a plenty of work that we could do, team, just by doing the manual tasks on it. You don't need coding, you don't need specific expertise. If you know pretty much how we are writing this Excel, it is a step forward for us to get into this. And the beginning step in this is to, start running, try by executing a few tests. Now the next part is coding. Coding is when we need to make further changes. We have a good pipeline of requirements on AnyAUT. So what are the other features that we want for this framework, and what it should do is what you want to put. Now CI/CD portions. So for this, I want you to be very comfortable with Java, little bit SNG, Selenium WebDriver, frameworks, and primarily I'll guide you from there. CI/CD, GitHub, Jenkins, Linux. So this will be pretty interesting for you to work on. Now, within who you are, I would want you to think about which group you want to be. And let us know. You want to be in the manual, you want to be in the coding part of it. And it is also your comfort. If you're not comfortable with a certain portion of it, then we can do further. So team, all these teams, what I'll do is I will divide this into the groups later in the offline. So I don't think we're all part of a group right now. Have you all joined Skype? Because there are multiple groups there, team. I just want you to get the right one. If I create a new group again, there'll be so much. I'll have something emailed to you on team. Share the Costco Excel sheet for reference. Yeah. Excel sheets. So team, I'm uploading this Excel sheets right into the folder AICT April 2020. So I'm going to put this there. And I think it's important for you to go through and tell me which one individually, and then I will add you to the other groups. Okay? There's no point in sharing it. We have enough groups. We can push you into the groups accordingly. I cannot upload all the videos on YouTube, team. Most of it will be, others will be on IT. Helen, how are you doing? I couldn't start the regression. Yes, Ramu, you're back. Okay, due to the Chrome browser issue. You tell in which folder can I get the correct one? Chrome browser issue. Which one, Ramu? Chrome drive. Helen, for all the access to live trainings, if you've joined JPack yesterday, just please send an email to learn. You would have got your login, so you can log in by Helen. Okay, Shamitra, you also signed up for JPack. I'll check it out with the team. All right. Anyone who signed up for JPack, please do me a favor and you can send an email to these to run@itlearn.com and also Mark Meeting or jp.casa.com. JPack. Okay. As a reminder, so I'll have the team work on it and give you access, please. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Take care for now. I'll see you all back tomorrow. For the other JPack members, I believe we'll be meeting today. Take care. Bye all. Bye now. Oh, sorry, team, I forgot. I'm sending the Google Drive link as well. So that way you can start. The trainings for the first 2 days are there on YouTube, everyone. This is the link to the folder. So anything that we're doing, we'll start putting it here. It'll be easy for you to do. And even this document that I'm making notes on every day is there in the same Google. Okay, folks, see you later then. Bye all. Thank you so much.